Bottom tier character Tomozaki season 2 episode 12. And in this episode we got the solution to what the whole Kikuchi's problem was. What I mean by this is that we saw in the last episode that we didn't know what Kikuchi was thinking, or we actually did know, but we didn't actually know exactly what she wanted to do, because although she said she wanted to be more like Aoi, it didn't really seem to be that way. It seemed almost like she wanted to do something else, and Tomozaki realized that in the last episode, I think it was. And in this episode we see that he wants to do something. We see that he wants to change the way that, Kikuchi is thinking, which is really interesting because it tells us that he in a way also wants to change the way that Aoi is thinking, because in reality the way that Kikuchi is thinking is the same that Aoi is thinking. So maybe that tells us that if there is a third season, that third season will be focused only on, Tomozaki, our main character, trying to change Aoi. I could see that happening, because you can almost say that this is the, I guess you can say, previous thing that is happening to set that up, to set what is coming in the future, which is Tomozaki trying to change Aoi. So yeah, this little mini arc between Kikuchi and, Tomozaki is actually really bigger when you think about it. And the solution that Tomozaki had to help out Kikuchi was actually really surprising, because I thought that he was going to force her to be a little bit more like him, or a little bit more like the other guys. What I mean by this is being a little bit more natural, believing in herself. I thought that he was going to go that route, but man, was I wrong, because we see in this episode that he actually did all the opposite. He straight up in this episode said to Kikuchi that she doesn't even need to change herself. So that was surprising, because I thought that he was going to suggest something else. I always thought that the end goal of Tomozaki was in a way to change Kikuchi, but he didn't actually want to do that. He used an analogy of the book he was reading to better help out, or to better, put out his idea that he was trying to convey. And because he did that, he got the message across. By the way, do not be confused. When I'm saying that he didn't want Kikuchi to be changed, I'm not also saying that he will do the same to Aoi if that ever happens. I'm not saying that, because if we're being honest, Tomozaki will think that Aoi does actually need to change, unlike Kikuchi. The reason for the difference is because Kikuchi is not there yet. Kikuchi hasn't taken the step yet to become this sort of, false, artificial person. She's not there yet, so because of that, he goes in it in a different way. And I think it was Tomozaki's clear message, clear way of speaking that actually convinced Kikuchi, because I thought that maybe she was going to take a little bit more convincing, but we see in this episode that Tomozaki has changed himself. That means that he was able to be more convincing. You can see it again, because his message was very clear, was very, easy to understand, nothing ambiguous about it. He was just being straightforward. He's not hiding anything. And because of that, Kikuchi came to realize that he was actually right, that he was actually speaking sense, that the way she was going to do things was not necessarily a bad thing, was just different. And the way she needed to do things was in reality to not do things at all. So yeah, that was actually again a really refreshing way of handling things, because I don't think any one of us thought that he was going to go that route that made Kikuchi not change at all, because in this anime it's a character changing one after another. You see it with Erika, you see it with Tama, you see it with Tomozaki. So of course the obvious conclusion was that Kikuchi was actually going to be the same, but surprise, it was actually nothing like that. Again, it was actually really nice, really surprising to see something like that happen, because you go into the anime and suddenly something unexpected happens, which makes the anime a little bit more interesting, a little bit more complex. It tells us that the anime is not linear. It tells us that the anime has more complexity to it. It is really, that type of anime that you cannot really expect something to go the way you think it is going to go, because you have episodes like this that suddenly throw a wrench at whatever you are thinking, at your plan. The thing that I was wondering throughout the whole episode was, what was Tomozaki going to tell Kikuchi at the end of the episode, or at the end of the play I should say, because he said that he was going to tell her something. I wonder what that is. I'm wondering if he's actually going to tell her that he likes her, because he did say to Aoi that he had decided who he wanted to be with, or at least that is what the episode was trying to imply, because if we're being honest, he probably decided that he didn't want to date anyone. So I could see that perfectly being the case. Although if that were to be the case, then why does he need to tell anything to Kikuchi? Because Kikuchi didn't say anything to him. Kikuchi didn't tell him that she liked him. So why does he need to tell her anything if Kikuchi didn't do anything like that? He did almost say something to Minami at the end of the episode, but he was interrupted by Minami herself. I wonder what he was going to say. Maybe he was going to say that he had thought about it and that he came to the conclusion that he didn't actually like her. I maybe could see that was going to happen, but who knows, to be honest. We are just speculating here, so I don't know what exactly he was trying to convey there. I mean, the other possibility could be that he actually does like Kikuchi, that he was going to tell Minami that he decided and that he likes Kikuchi. Kikuchi. So maybe that is what he was going to say to Minami. But yeah, that was basically everything that happened in the episode. The next episode is the last episode, and hopefully it is very good. I think it is actually going to be very good. And yeah, if you don't want to miss any episode reviews, please subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, that will be everything by me, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.